Hi, my name is Richard Crooks from the Destination Staffordshire team. The topic of this video is how to create your own brand. It's the second in a series of 3 videos on how to build your visual brand as a tourism business here in Staffordshire. Hopefully the first webinar whetted your appetite about thinking differently about your business. Start thinking about it as a brand. Hopefully it also got you thinking about your brand not just being a logo and a visual identity, but it has to be something that has substance, in that what you say must be followed through in terms of the experience you deliver. Brand is a promise. Make good on your promise and people will tell other people about how great you are. Don't make good on your promise and people will still tell other people about you, but in a less flattering way. So if your brand is based on telling people, like the Cool Pub Company, that they're about seriously good food in an unserious way, you need to deliver on that promise. And as a customer of theirs, I'm happy to say that they do. Even in saying this, I'm spreading the word on their behalf. In the digital age, word of mouth has become even more important. In fact, it's now known as word of mouse. There's so many opportunities on the internet to write a review, like and share, that can tell people about their experience of your brand. Beware, though, a satisfied customer will tell 3 friends, but a dissatisfied one will tell 11 friends. And with social media, these figures are likely to be 10 times that. So make sure that you deliver on your promise. So how do you go about creating your own brand? Where do you start? How do you go about creating the words that you want people to be saying to others about you? Well, there's a really good model for this. It's been developed by an American brand consultant called Simon Sinek. The model is called the Golden Circle. He explains his model in a well-documented TED Talk, which is actually the second most viewed TED Talk of all time, having been viewed over 22 million times. Watch the video if you can. Just type in Google just type into Google Simon Sinek TED Talk. I'm going to use this session to explain the model and summarize it for you, and then work through how you can apply it to creating your own brand. Okay, let's start. Sinek says that every business needs to understand and be able to articulate 3 things: what they do, how they do it, and why they do it. When all 3 pieces exist and are in harmony, a business can say with absolute clarity, we know who we are, we know what makes us different, and we know what we stand for. Essentially, this is the core of any brand. If you're going to articulate a clear brand message or brand promise, you need to know who you are, you need to know what makes you different, and you need to know what you stand for as a business. Now, the interesting thing is that every business knows what they do. This is the product they sell or the services that they offer. You're a pub, you're a restaurant, you're a hotel. That's pretty straightforward. Some businesses, and not all, know how they do what they do. They may call it their value proposition or unique selling proposition. The hows are business's strengths, values, or guiding principles that differentiate them. These are the things that they feel set them apart from their competition, the things that make them special or different from everyone else. Now on to why. Very few businesses can clearly articulate why they do what they do. Why is a purpose, a cause, or a belief? It provides a clear answer to the question, why do you get out of bed every morning? Or why does your organization exist? Or why should what you do matter to anyone else? Making money is not a why. Revenues, profits, and other monetary measurements are simply a result of what you do. The why is about your contribution to impact and serve others. The why inspires us. The why inspires your customers. The why is how you capture your customer's imagination. The why is how you want to make people feel. The why is your brand. What Simon Sinek says is that people naturally communicate from the outside in. They typically go from what is the easiest to understand to what is the hardest to understand and explain. They tell people what they do, tell them how they are, different or better, and then they expect a behavior like a purchase of their service to happen, just like that. And that's how most businesses market and themselves and communicate and talk about their brands. For example, start with what? Here is our hotel. Then they go on to say how. They might be different. So they might say, we serve great food, we have nice bedrooms, our staff are lovely and friendly, and we're in the middle of a beautiful countryside but in close proximity to all the major attractions. And that's how many tourism businesses communicate. The problem is that the what and the how do not inspire action or purchase. Facts and figures make rational sense, but people do not make decisions purely based on facts and figures. Knowing your why means that you connect with people's emotions and feelings, and they become automatically drawn to you and your brand. To communicate effectively about your brand, you need to know your why. You also need to start with your why in your communications. You need to be able to communicate from the inside out, the opposite to how most businesses communicate. You communicate from the outside in. Starting with why, you start to connect with your customers' emotions. You start to build your brand. Let's start with an example of one of the best brands in the world. In fact, the best brand, Apple, and how they apply the Golden Circle model. If Apple was like any other business, their brand message might go something like this. We make great products. They're beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. Want to buy one? And that's pretty much uninspiring, and it probably wouldn't get you excited and wanting to rush out to buy an Apple computer or a phone or a tablet, right? But as we know, Apple is quite inspiring. So this is actually how they communicate, starting with their why. Everything we do, we believe in challenging the status quo. We believe in thinking differently. The way we challenge the status quo is by making our products beautifully designed, simple to use, and user-friendly. We just happen to make great products. Totally different, right? And now you're ready to buy something from Apple. None of this is opinion according to Simon Sinek. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology. A cross-section of the human brain shows that its layout perfectly correlates with the three major components of the golden circle. The outside of the brain is the neocortex, which corresponds with the what level of the golden circle. The neocortex is the newest brain, or Homo sapien brain. It's responsible for all rational and analytical thoughts and language. The middle two sections, the how and the why of the golden circle, make up the limbic brain. The limbic brain is responsible for all feelings like trust and loyalty. It's also responsible for all human behavior and decision making, yet it has no capacity for language. In other words, communicate from the outside in, and people can understand vast amounts of complicated information like features, benefits, facts and figures, but it simply does not drive human behavior. Communicate from the inside out, and you speak directly to the part of the brain that controls emotions, behavior, and decision making, including the decision to purchase a product or service. I've used a big company and brand in Apple to demonstrate this because most people know Apple and can relate to it that way, but the golden circle applies to all businesses. For example, I personally have worked with Freedom Brewery as part of this tourism program. We went through this exercise and created their why, how, and what. It is as follows. We believe in the freedom to choose a better way. We choose to brew a better lager that delivers a better taste. We just so happen to brew a great lager. This creates a completely new and more compelling brand proposition for Freedom Brewery, one which helps them to connect better with the more discerning customer who wants and values the feeling of freedom, the feeling to choose something better, whatever that may be, including a better lager. Finally, back to our hotel example with its uninspiring brand message. How about if it were to communicate like this? We believe that people are happier when they get a good night's sleep. We thought of everything you need to have a good night's sleep. From our super comfy Hypnos beds to a choice of a firm or soft pillows. We're always on the lookout for ways to make bedtime better. In fact, we're so confident you'll have a great night's sleep that if you don't, we'll give you your money back. Here's our hotel. Sound familiar? Sounds much better, doesn't it, than the previous hotel example? See how the brand promise of a good night's sleep is delivered and fulfilled in how they go about things at Premier Inn. Now, you know how to craft a compelling brand proposition using the golden circle method. Go away from this workshop and have a go. If you need more inspiration to help you, go to Simon Sinek's own website, www.startwithwhy.com. Finally, can I suggest that you watch the final one of the series of 3 videos on building your visual brand. This final one brings to life the concepts and ideas we've spoken about in the first 2 videos in how to execute your brand visually. Remember, your why should evoke a feeling, an emotional connection with your customers. In Apple's case, this is about making customers feel superior. They're not like the rest, they're different. In Freedom Brewery's case, this is about the feeling of freedom and independence to choose. In the Premier Inn's case, this is about the feeling of happiness. The happiness and feeling great and better from a good night's sleep. So, how are you going to make your own customers feel? Thank you for listening and watching, and I look forward to catching up with you in the 3rd and final video.